Welcome back to the Mind Compass, your 10-minute pit stop of mindset growth for stress management, anxiety relief, and personal development. Whata?
And g'day listeners, I'm Michael.
And I'm Janet, and welcome to today's episode of the Mind Compass, the No Dickhead Policy.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever worked or hung out with someone who just sucked the life out of the room? One of those people who makes everything harder than it needs to be. You could feel it like an invisible cloud of ego, drama, or low-level sabotage following them around.
Yep. Just one or two toxic people can derail the whole team or all your mates' social circle. And that's why today's episode is a bit bold, but my God, is incredibly necessary.
We're delving into something that's helped shape our entire personal life and professional philosophy, the No Dickhead Policy. And this isn't just a rant, it's a roadmap. It's a mindset, it's a boundary, and a damn good way to protect your peace, raise your standards, and lead with clarity.
In this episode, you're going to learn why one toxic attitude can ruin culture, friendships, and performance. The science behind emotional contagion and why vibes really matter. How to spot energy vampires and ego-driven charmers, and how to enforce strong boundaries without guilt.
And why high-performing teams like the famous New Zealand rugby team, the All Blacks, live and breathe this idea. So that's a great place to start. And the phrase, the No Dickhead Policy, was actually made famous by the New Zealand All Blacks rugby team, arguably one of the most successful sporting teams in history. And their mantra was, better people make better All Blacks, no ego, no exceptions. And this philosophy has also been adopted by the superstar Aussie software company, Atlassian. It's been adopted by elite military units like Navy SEALs, and they have some version of this embedded in their culture.
They've learned the hard way. One toxic person can do more damage than 10 average performers. Research backs it up too. The Harvard Business School found that avoiding a toxic hire saves more than twice as much as hiring a top performer earns, and that is huge.
Several years ago, I took over a company and inherited 2 top billers. And on paper, sure, they were high performers, but culturally, they were toxic. Their behaviour was undermining the team, eroding morale, and damaging the company's reputation. And I raised this early with the managing director, outlining the long-term risks. And while they were generating strong revenue in the short term, they were costing us in talent loss, client trust, and brand equity.
Despite his repeated advice to take decisive action, Mick's MD refused. His decision was anchored in the belief that their billing justified the cultural cost. He made it clear they were bleeding good people, and their clients were actively contacting him to express their frustration with how these guys operated. And still, there was no change.
So eventually I chose to walk away from the role. And a year later, funnily enough, after significant fallout, the MD finally let them both go. But by then, the damage had been done. Sure, he kept the revenue, but he'd lost reputation and great people. And it remains one of the clearest examples in my career of why cultural integrity must come before individual performance. One wrong person, no matter how productive, can poison the whole world.
And the No Dickhead Policy is absolutely mandatory for your personal life, with much higher stakes and priority. This is your time, your life on your watch. Sometimes at work you have to tolerate toxic dickheads because until you shift jobs or they leave. But do not let them invade and perpetrate your personal life space. Your friendship groups, your social circles, etc. Show them the door or leave the room.
As the Stanford Business Review said, it's better to lose a superstar than keep a toxic one. And it's so true. Talent might get you on the field, but humility, character, and emotional intelligence are what keep a winning team. So let's talk about some red flags. Because toxicity, it doesn't always walk in loud and proud. Sometimes it wears a tailored suit or a charming smile behind a wolf's grin, and we've all seen that before, haven't we?
Here are some types to watch for. The know-it-all who shuts people down. The saboteur, they're friendly to your face, but they throw you under the bus when it counts behind your back.
The dog that barks in the background while you're trying to do a podcast.
He's not a dickhead,
No,
he's just
not.
a dog.
He's gorgeous. The energy vampire. Everything is a drama, right? We all know these people. Nothing is ever their fault. And then there's the charmer with a dark agenda, who's charming on the outside, but they're manipulative, strategic, self-serving. And as Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
Let's back this up with a little bit of science. Have you ever heard of emotional contagion? Well, it's real. Studies show that emotions, especially negative ones, are highly contagious. One person's bad attitude can affect the entire group's performance, their creativity, and more importantly, their mental health. So when people say vibes don't lie, it's more than intuition, it's biology. As Jim Rohn said, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And those 5 people, they're shaping your energy, your confidence, and even your decisions, whether you like it or not.
All right, how do you actually enforce a no dickhead policy? Well, start with yourself, right? Ask, am I tolerating behaviour that I'd never accept from myself? And if the answer is yes, it's time to reset the bar. Get clear on your values, write them down, communicate them, and don't just post them on a wall, live them.
And what about when someone crosses that line? Call them in before you call them out. Give them a chance to course correct, but don't give unlimited chances. That's not kindness, that's avoidance.
So let me share a personal experience. Years ago in my Yellow Pages days, and they were the fun, halcyon days of Yellow Pages in my early professional career, I made a call that stayed with me forever since. Never hire a dickhead, ever. No matter how impressive their resume was, no matter how shiny their track record, if they lacked emotional intelligence, empathy, or respect, they didn't get through the door. And the result? It was magic. Sure, there were mistakes on the way, but we built a team that was high-performing, drama-free, well, for the most part, and collaborative. And we collectively went on amazing incentive trips together. People felt safe to speak up, share ideas, challenge each other, and have each other's backs.
Let's go a step further. Your boundaries aren't walls, they're gates, and you get to choose who walks through them. This applies at work, in your social life, and even in your digital space. If someone constantly triggers anxiety or undermines your confidence or sucks the air out of your lungs, you don't owe them your energy.
Hell no.
As Dan Pena said, the high-performance business coach behind the Quantum Leap Advantage, again, similar to Jim Rohn, he said, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Raise the bar. Don't lower your boundaries. Curate your environment like your life depends on it, because guess what? It kind of does. Some people raise our standards and others just raise our blood pressure. Choose wisely.
So let's bring it home. Both friendship and leadership, true friendship and leadership, starts with what you tolerate. You don't need to fight fire with fire. You don't need to convince people to change. Sometimes you just need to walk away from the match. Set your standards, hold your line, and whether you're running a team, leading a household, or managing your own mind, your peace is non-negotiable.
Don't adapt to the energy in the room. Influence the room with your energy. You don't owe access to people who drain you. You owe it to protect yourself, your clarity, your confidence, your calm, and your life. So say it with me. No ego, no entitlement, and definitely no dickheads.
If this episode gave you a light bulb moment, please share it with someone who's also raising their standards. Maybe a team leader, a colleague, a friend going through a transition, whatever. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe to the Mind Compass button, where we unpack tools, stories, and strategies to help you grow stronger, live calmer, and lead with heart.
Until next time, protect your precious energy, live your values, and remember, no exceptions, no regrets, and definitely no dickheads.
Definitely.
Love and blessings.
See ya.